comment I've heard you say a couple of different times, that we are the third generation of rock fans and bands.
Yeah.
And that's made a difference because, what did you say, we were fans first?
Well, yeah.
Is that what they?
Yeah, because the first two generations were literally inventing it as they went. I mean, the first generation in the 50s was a completely a bunch of freaks and rogues, and nobody knew where it was going. They were literally inventing it. They were serving this new species of human being called a teenager, which hadn't existed before at all. You know, before the 50s, you were an adolescent, and then you had a couple of awkward years, and then you were an adult. You know, suddenly they got a name, and they became a marketplace partly because of the baby boom thing just starting. And rock and roll came along just in time to serve that new market, that new demographic, that new species of people. And because of the luxury of America after the World War II, we were incredibly rich for a minute. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
But we actually, when I grew up, we were to the dinner table talking about the inevitability of the 4-day work week, with one parent working. Okay, it wasn't whether it was going to happen or not. It was just a matter of when we were going to go to the 4-day work week, with one parent in the house working. That's how rich we were. You know, can you imagine that? Yeah, I know.
It didn't work.
And they wonder why we're nostalgic. Anyway, so the teenager thing, you know, the 50s guys would have been considered circus freaks, you know, that came through town, and they were all gone by 57, 58, you know. Elvis is in the army, Chuck Berry's in jail, you know, Little Richard saw Sputnik and decided to saw God, you know.
Several of them were dead.
They were all, then they all, you know, Eddie Cochran died, Buddy Holly died, you know, so, you know, it was suddenly gone. But then a second generation comes in, mostly British invasion, but also Beach Boys and Four Seasons and Motown and of course the great folk rock, Birds and people like that. And suddenly they said that the 50s guys were important. And suddenly they became important. You know, they weren't important in the 50s. The 50s guys became pioneers of this art form suddenly, you know, when it became an art form, you know, thanks to Bob Dylan and the rest. So the 60s generation, again, we're evolving the thing to the highest point I think it would ever be in what I call the Renaissance. And so by the third generation, us guys starting really in the 70s, it was an established art form. It was an established business also, which wasn't the case, you know, until the 70s really, you know. So you had both of those things going on, and we were perfectly timed, you know, to enjoy not only the artistic range of things you could do and the wonderful. It was a time when the best music being made was also the most commercial.
Yes.
You know, we'll never see that again.
No.
You know, and so we walked into that like it was normal.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and again, we thought it was normal that every other week there'd be a new Beatles record or a new Stones record, or the Kinks would come up with something. There always was going to be, for you, if I may, for you and I, "Summer in the City" was a song we heard in the back of a Chevy, not in the Die Hard movie.
Well,
for the first time.
Oh, that's right.